Hello, welcome to our Donkeys and Dragons video chat, where we spend about 15 minutes chatting about a specific topic somehow related to holistic testing. Today, our guest is Ashley Hunsberger. Ashley has decades of testing experience that has evolved into her current focus on enabling engineers to have the environment and support they need to thrive. She has experience in small, medium, and large companies, ranging from startups to big enterprises, with stints in government contracting and private industry. And her interests led her to recently get a master's degree in applied industrial and organizational psychology. How cool is that? Where she loves to continue to learn about human experience at work and how we can improve it. Ashley's guiding principle is people first, and her mission is to leave tech a better place than she found it. I love that. And if I'm not mistaken, she's an alternate for the World Cup field hockey team?
For the Masters. So the over 35, 40, 45 crowd.
All right. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Now that I have that. So I'm Jenna Gregory. And you already met Lisa. And the other person on that, I don't know, is it left?
Oh, I didn't say who I was.
Wow.
Hopefully people figured it out by now.
Hopefully.
Take it away, Janet.
So, you are a longtime leader in testing, also platform engineering, and a whole lot more. We're interested in what led you to focus on the developer experience and currently are, getting your graduate degree. Kind of been watching you along the way, and it's truly an amazing journey.
Thank you. It really all started with my career in testing. I think so much of my background was in user experience and what are they feeling? What are they experiencing with the things that we deliver to them? Are we giving them value? Are we not? Is it easy? Is it comfortable? Like all of those things that matter when you think about anything that you use, any software that you might use. And that journey kind of started evolving as we shifted to a model. It wasn't just us doing the testing, but we're teaching the engineers to also do the testing and write the automation scripts. And I saw the difference that it made in the developers' experience to take on some of the testing components themselves. And seeing that evolve in their mindset shift was pretty incredible. And that also started thinking about, all right, how do we think about the process as well? And so as part of my own career journey, shifted into agile processes and rolling that out around the company and seeing the differences that made in teams and their ability to deliver better. And when we can see our ability to deliver, that changes our whole experience, right? Like we see that it's kind of like self-efficacy. So we see something that we can do, and now we believe we can do more. It's a pretty cool cycle to watch happen in people. But at the heart of all of that, as I got teams that maybe somewhere at different stages along the way, I started looking at, well, what makes us effective as teams? And then I saw a talk from Gitta, ClickGuard, on psychological safety. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to learn more about this. And as I dove into more research on that and, not just talks, which were still amazing, but like the actual science and research behind it, I learned a lot from Dr. Amy Edmondson, and oh my God, this is like a whole field that you study as part of organizational psychology, which, it's a mouthful to say applied industrial and organizational psychology, but at the heart of it is all that really means is I want to study how humans experience work and how do we make it better through science-backed techniques that evidence says can work in a particular context. So that's really how I started getting into developer experience. And then the more I wanted to learn about that, I was like, as I realized that this is a whole field we can study, I was like, oh my gosh, I think I found what I want to go back to school for. And so that's where I landed up.
That's great.
That is so awesome.
It is. And when you're passionate about something, you enjoy doing it, right?
Yes.
Really do. And
Even the
I think
hard work of getting a graduate degree and all that research.
Sure. Yeah. I don't envy that at all.
No, and I don't think I could have done it without both of you, and you, especially Janet, you telling me get to good enough. It's okay to not do a thing. Your both of your encouragement along the way was like huge in my journey and being successful in grad school. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, actually, I was really amazed that your first new job out of graduate school, it sounds really interesting. It sounds like it really uses what you've been studying and learning through your degree and your professional work. And I guess
Yeah,
I'm surprised in a pleasant way that some companies value people with your skills and experience, and they want to help their employees to feel
yeah,
psychologically safe, do their best work. Because so many companies, in my experience, are just completely blind to the competitive advantage of nurturing a learning culture, and it's a knowledge work.
yeah.
Do you think what your organization is trying to do is a growing trend?
I sure hope so. I like to think it is. We see a lot of it now in the industry, focusing especially on developer experience, maybe more from a tooling and like technical environment perspective, but it's so much more than that, right? It's flow, it's feedback, it's what's making it hard for us to get something done, the cognitive load aspect. So there's a lot of people I like to follow in the industry on particular things, like Dr. Kat Hicks. She's at Pluralsight, leading amazing research there. I think some of the really interesting things coming out of that are like the developer thriving framework, thinking about things about code review anxiety. The publishing's
Mm,
coming from her team there is really incredible. I think even AI skill anxiety as that comes in, and those things that we feel as part of our job, which is so important to our experiences. And of course, like Abby Noda's team at GetDX and the work that they've been publishing along that route, and the DX framework that they've been posting around flow feedback and cognitive load. Of course, Dr. Nicole Forsgren's work over at Microsoft Research, and applying space, applying the DX framework and the research that they've led there. So it's exciting to see these research aspects coming out, and then the ability to now see companies start to apply them in their work. It's really exciting to see, and kind of be at the forefront of that as well. I think when we talk about like being able to apply my degree as well, it's pretty interesting. Like you tend to think of what people do in IO psychology as like HR related, but I love that teams are saying like, oh my gosh, there's even especially at big companies, they can only do so much, right? It's hard to make something specific for engineers. And I love that teams are saying it's important to start focusing on engineering teams on all of these aspects on the human experience. So it's pretty great to see that evolution over time in tech over the last 5-10 years.
Well, we love to hear you talking about how you're applying it in, conferences, writing blogs, a book or two.
no pressure.
One day.
No pressure. All right. So, keynote for Romanian testing conference. You talked about soft skills. Not that I particularly like the word soft, but they're character skills, right? So skills like communication, collaboration, even the agile mindset. So how can people build these skills?
Oh, I really love this question because I think soft skills are actually the hardest ones to build.
I
Um,
agree.
I think it takes a lot of self-awareness, first of all. If you don't have the self-awareness to know and reflect on maybe, okay, where am I actually at on this skill set? And maybe if I've applied it, where did it not go as intended? You need to be able to reflect and see where you're at and maybe what desired result did you have and what do we need to get to that desired result. So first, develop that self-awareness. Be willing to reflect and maybe have those hard conversations with yourself first, or be able to get maybe some hard feedback that you didn't expect. That might be part of it, right? But you have to be ready for that feedback too. So that self-awareness is key, first and foremost. But I also think that building skills, like any skill, is multidimensional. It's not enough to go read an article or even just take a course and then be like, okay, now I know it, I can do it. That's just part of the foundation of building that. Like you need to learn about it, yes, but now how can I get coaching? How can I maybe find applications for this skill? So whether it's communication, whether it's leadership, whether it's collaboration, maybe it is about agile mindset. Where are there opportunities I can find to then go practice that? And while I'm practicing it, do I have a trusted person that can give me feedback on that? And so I think one example I remember in my early career is I had spent so much time talking about the technical, especially in testing, that my leader or manager, she was really, I think, she really helped me in saying, we need to get you learning how to talk to different audiences. You're really good at talking the technical with the engineers, how to go do this. But now you need to learn how to go talk to executives. So maybe even part of that communication aspect is, how do you talk to certain audiences? And she would work with me. We'd practice, right? We would rehearse it before I would go into a room of executives and talk with them. And then after that executive session, she would give me feedback on how that went, or maybe things to adjust for the next time. So, thinking about those opportunities as leaders, we're also responsible for helping find those opportunities to develop it in others. It's not just on that person to go find it. And so, yeah, doing that and getting feedback. We could do a whole podcast on feedback, right? But the main thing,
Yes.
it's not just about great job. It's not just that could be better. What was good about it? What should you continue doing? What should you maybe improve on for the next time? And think about, like, not just be focusing on the past and what happened, but also forward and future thinking about it, I think is huge and critical to how we evolve and improve in those soft skills.
I really, so I just did a blog post on mine, practice, and some of it was on soft skills. So it really resonates with me. What I really liked about what you just said was that self-awareness. Where do we start? What do we need to work on? I just had a really hard conversation. I can talk to most anybody, but I just had a really hard conversation with somebody close to me. And that's difficult for me. So seeing those sorts of things isn't just for the workplace either, right?
Yeah.
But you have to keep doing it all the time. So
oh my gosh, yeah. I think even talking to my daughter, who
exactly
people we love the most, right? And it applies in any context that we need to do, and it's hard. And a part of that as well, like I would say, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Otherwise, how are you going to be able to grow?
That's right. I think we have time for one more question.
Just to kind of continue on. I love the idea of combining feedback and deliberate practice. We'll put Janet's blog post in the show notes. But so let's say I want to do this, but I'm working in an environment where the leadership doesn't support me in my learning. And well, I have time, but there are a lot of people who don't have time to do this outside of work, or they don't have much time. Well, what would you say to somebody, like your keynote was about unlocking our potential? What would you say to somebody who's maybe not getting the best support from their manager at work, but really is committed to developing these character skills?
Yeah, so I love this idea of character skills. So Adam Grant talks a lot about in his book, Hidden Potential. It's not just about, what we know. It is really about ourselves. And even beyond soft skills, the character skills behind it that are so critical to how we unlock ourselves and our potential. And 3 that really resonated with me are: be a sponge. Are you asking questions? Like, are you really trying to get as much information as possible? And think about the intent behind what you're trying to learn too. Are you trying to feed your ego, or are you really truly trying to grow and learn? Like, there's a difference, right? And a spectrum. I think we also need to find our motivation. That is a very intrinsic part of us and what motivates us and helps us grow. There are things in psychology that tells us can help us stay motivated, like seeing the impact that you have from your work on others, the positive impact, being able to finish something, being able to use different skills. These motivate us to do better. But also maybe it's something more personal and more driven. Maybe somebody's told you no, or you're not worthy of doing this, or you can't do something and you want to prove them wrong. Maybe that drives you. Maybe it's something really deeply personal to you, like your family and children, or somebody that you love, and you want to be able to do something better for them. So finding that motivation is huge for us. And then my favorite one was learning with others. We go into a whole story in this talk, and I don't want to spoil it because I'll be talking about something similar for ATD, but thinking about the times that I've done the best in my career is when I've had the opportunity to learn with others. Like, Lisa, you and I have talked so much about certain things as they come up in the industry. Let's learn from each other, right? I love our women in testing group for that. Or, are you able to pair with somebody? Can you ensemble with them? Can you, form these lunch groups that go learning together and really try to apply it as a group together? There's even grad school. I would not have gotten through grad school if I didn't have a learning study group where we met every week for 2.5 years and talked about what it was that we were going through. So all of these three things, these character skills, I think are so paramount to being able to unlock our potential. And of course, I'll talk more about the actual psychological theories and models behind some stuff as part of my talk at ATD. I talked about it at RTC, but there's not enough time in the world right now for us to do this. But yeah.
You studied for 2.5 years to learn it all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So let's wrap this up. It's been so much fun.
I can't wait for Agile Testing Days.
Okay, so fun.
I don't know how we'll do it without Janet, but
I'm not going to be there this year. So
sad.
Actually,
broken heart.
You're going to be taking my place in so many things. So
that's true. That's true.
Just call me new Janet. Just kidding.
Yeah. All right. So let me share our information. Lisa, let's wrap it up.
All right. I'm not seeing this shared screen yet. There it is.
There.
All right. Well, we invite you to get in touch with us, learn more about our books and courses as well, if you want to learn more about holistic testing and the whole team approach, which includes a lot of these character skills.
Exactly.
And then there we go. That's how to get in touch with us. We love to talk about testing, and feel free to get on. Our contact information is available. You can email us and message us on LinkedIn or whatever. So thank you so much, Ashley, for joining us. This is really inspiring, and we'll look forward to our next awesome guest on our next video chat. And we'll put things in the show notes to help people learn more.
Exactly. Have a good day, everyone.
Thanks.